I wanted to ask Dr. Rooney, certainly Secretary Woodson, if where we are when we are all voluntary force. I think you would all agree that our troops have done everything we've asked of them and more. So last year, did we not increase TRICARE enrollment fees?
Modestly, we did, yes.
But we did. And we tied it to cost of living adjustments, correct?
Correct.
And now you're back before us. I know, Secretary Hale, you certainly have an opinion on this, to ask for additional TRICARE increases. And these increases are very significant. Now, I know my time is up here, but I think this is a really important issue, so I'll wait for another round. But these aren't, for some individuals, these aren't trivial. For example, a retiree receiving between $22,000 and $45,000 a year, their annual fees will go from $500 to $1,500 a year, threefold in only about 4 years. So this is a pretty significant issue. And I think we have a duty, given what our servicemen and women have done, to really have a very hard discussion about this, and I'm really concerned about it. So I know my time's up, and I'll stick around to ask more questions and turn it back to the chairman.
Thank you, Senator. I actually
would agree very much with the chairman on this, just in terms of what we're talking about as far as a comparison. I mean, there's a reason that in President Lincoln's second inaugural address, he said that we have a duty. Really, we have to bind up our nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan. This is different than the rest of the population in terms of what they have sacrificed and what they have put on the line for us, and what they were promised. I mean, what is it that they expected in all of this? So I think that that's what we're talking about here. And what bothers me about this is that the reason that you're here in this position is that, let's face it, something like the Budget Control Act, you came with us last year to ask for TRICARE increases. And that wasn't easy, was it, Secretary Hale? Just to get, that was a difficult question. I know you didn't get everything you wanted.
We appreciate your support.
No, exactly, and we supported you on that. And you're back before us this year in the context of what we're looking at with something like the Budget Control Act. You've been handed a number. You're under additional budgetary pressures. Healthcare costs are rising in every sector, but we haven't, as a Congress, dealt with the 60% of the spending that's going up in federal spending that includes Medicare, that includes Medicaid, that includes the mandatory program. So we haven't, to put you, I understand why you're here before us. I don't think, though, that we should put that, if we don't show the courage to deal with the entire budget, to really put a significant increase in burden after we just did an increase last year on this group of individuals who have served our nation, given what they had as anticipation when they came into service, as Senator Webb has said, and where we are making these changes. So that's one of the overall concerns I have about this. And I understand that you were handed a number in the Budget Control Act. Would you be here asking for these increases immediately after you got some last year, but for the Budget Control Act?
I suspect the answer to that is no, but the Budget Control Act is a law that you passed, and we do need to be consistent with it. My worry is that if we choose not to make these decisions, we will have to take it out of force structure and investment.
Right.
And I believe that we have already, consistent with the strategy, done what we should there. It's actually quite disproportionate toward the investment side and very disproportionate on the low side for personnel. So if you don't support this, I'm not sure where we go.
But my point in the bigger picture in all this, which is not really not your fault that you're put in this position, the bigger picture in this is that because in Congress we aren't looking at the whole picture, that you're in a position where you handed the Budget Control Act, you're coming before us, you're going to ask for these health care increases after just having increased TRICARE last year. And I think that we also on our end, to put this a little bit on us, that we have to take on the big picture here, or we're going to be in a place like sequestration. We're going to be in a place where there's no question reductions are going to happen to our military with withdrawal from Iraq and drawdown in Afghanistan. But you're here, I think it's troubling to me that we're going to take it out of that group first in terms of, instead of dealing with the big picture of our budget problem.
I'd love a grand budget deal, so.
But the truth of the matter is now we're not taking it out of that group first. As Secretary Hale said in his opening statements, while personnel costs are 30%, when the Secretary laid out the policies and procedures for looking at the budget, 90% came from troops, weapons programs, ships, planes. 10% came from personnel costs, and truth of the matter is these TRICARE fee adjustments represent only 5% or slightly less than 5%.
I do have one substantive question. You received the GAO report, which recommended a consolidation among the services of healthcare as a way of a significant cost-saving measure. And I don't see that in all of this. In terms of, I don't see a significant move in terms of changing and consolidation in trying to look at other ways where we could save money in healthcare. In fact, the GAO recommended that you could achieve between $281 and $460 million in annual savings from that. So have we gone down that road at all?
So you may be aware that we delivered to Congress the required report to Congress in the NDAA looking at the restructuring of the military health system. You know, we were ready to move out on that last fall when at the 11th hour we got a prohibition in the NDAA saying that we could not make any changes in the military health system. So we have gone down that path in terms of analyzing what we need to get the greatest amount of efficiencies by looking at common business practices and common service orientation. And I would suggest to you again that as much as we are bringing focus and energy to reorganizing the structure of the military health system, can we put up chart 1, please? That you need to understand that headquarters functions actually represent only about 2% of budget. We affectionately call this slide the planet slide because it shows the relative amounts of money in the budget. And if you look to the far right, that really represents headquarters function, and where we spend the bulk of the money is actually in delivery of care and private sector care and direct and maintenance.
So I apologize. I will grab that report and look at it right away. Yeah. So is this something you'd still want to do? And
absolutely.
And if you did it, could you also not have to ask for the increases that you're asking for?
The answer is no, because if you look at that slide, again, headquarters function, while we want to squeeze that lemon very hard, only represents about 2% of really our costs. So the headquarters function is not going to get us to where we need to go. The other thing that you have to remember is that it's about putting the program on a sustainable course, so that it will be there for future generations and men and women who stand up and raise their right hand and say, I'll protect and defend, that they will be, that a benefit will be there, a generous benefit will be there to take care of their lifelong needs in medical care. The issue is that because we've had prohibitions for 16 years, we actually are far behind the curve and not on a sustainable course. Put up number 4 there, please. And I want to show to you what how dramatic this is. So if you look at particularly the private sector, and I know we don't want to talk about comparisons, over the course of the last decade or so, contributions to premium costs in healthcare have gone 168%. Premium costs have gone up 160%. If you look at the blue line at the bottom, you can see that there has been no increase until last year when we had these very modest increases of $250 per month for singles and $5 a month for families. The issue is that we have not been on a sustainable course, and we need to certainly slightly rebalance it. With all of the proposals, we will not go back to what was the original agreed upon cost share. We'll only be at half of that, but we will be on a more sustainable course. This is about a national security issue that goes on for decades.
This, in my view, I mean, with all respect to the private sector, they do not endure what our soldiers do in battle and are shot at, and you know, the things that they have to experience. So I don't find the comparison good, and I think that if we as Congress would actually say that this is a commitment we want to follow through on, that we could find a way to do it if we're willing to take on entitlements, if we're willing to take on the rest of the budget, rather than you all trying to find a way to pass this on to our veterans in the first instance. That's my big picture concern here. But I understand that healthcare is going up everywhere, but I don't find the comparison the same.
Let me just sort of have the final word here.